nation. With the spirit of connection, a new millennium story begins as APEC and Gyeongju come together. APEC meets Gyeongju.
The moment we wear it, our spirits lift. It helps us grow strong in body and in mind. As we wear it, we learn patience and respect. The belt system motivates students to strive harder and continue growing. This uniform shapes movement into grace and turns performance into something thrilling. Now, embraced around the world, Taekwondo shares our culture, philosophy, and values with pride and spirit. Though it may seem simple, this uniform holds your passion and your journey. It belongs to Taekwondo. Wear the extraordinary. Be with Taekwondo.
South Korean and Cambodian officials have agreed to establish a 24-hour hotline to strengthen their joint collaboration on tracking and tackling job scams targeting Korean nationals in Cambodia. In its latest push to complete its three major reforms, the ruling Democratic Party announced on Monday detailed plans for judicial and media reform through its special committees. Also on Monday, Korea's biggest aerospace and defense exhibition, SEOUL ADEX 2025, kicked off, where South Korea renewed its commitment to becoming a leading exporter and achieving a self-reliant defense structure. We begin with the latest on the job scams targeting Korean nationals in Cambodia. South Korean and Cambodian officials have agreed to secure a 24-hour hotline and a so-called Korean desk to tighten their collaboration on reducing criminal job scams involving Koreans, while two more victims were rescued from a related crime on Monday. Our Moon Ji-young starts us off.
Top police officials of South Korea and Cambodia held a bilateral meeting on Monday. They agreed to swiftly discuss starting this week the operation of a 24-hour hotline, active crackdowns on scam crimes targeting Koreans, and joint investigations. Separately, South Korea's National Police Agency has also decided to form its own dedicated task force to address the surge of crimes targeting South Koreans in Cambodia. Also on the same day, the government held its second interagency task force meeting, chaired by National Security Advisor Wi Song-rak, to formulate countermeasures against crimes targeting South Korean nationals in Cambodia, including aggravated job scams.
Regarding future action plans, a key discussion point was how to respond to a potential balloon effect wherein existing scam operations might shift from Cambodia to other Southeast Asian countries due to the Cambodian authorities' strengthened enforcement efforts.
Earlier, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that at least 10 more South Koreans have been arrested and 2 others rescued in connection with online job scams in Cambodia. They are expected to return to South Korea this week. This development follows a closed meeting held by the ministry on Monday, during which Foreign Minister Cho Hyun announced plans to add 40 consular positions and establish an early warning system to combat crimes in Southeast Asia. This comes after the death of a South Korean college student identified only by his surname Park. An autopsy was conducted by Cambodian and South Korean officials in Phnom Penh on the body of the 22-year-old victim on Monday. The autopsy came about 70 days after Bak's body was found and involved 7 Korean officials, including pathologists from the National Forensic Service. The autopsy revealed no signs of organ damage or mutilation. They added that the exact cause of death will be definitively determined by combining the results of upcoming histological and toxicology tests to be conducted in South Korea, as well as the findings from ongoing investigations in both countries. Meanwhile, 64 South Koreans detained in Cambodia on charges related to online scam operations returned home on a chartered flight early Saturday. 문지영, 아리랑 뉴스.
South Korea's Minister of Employment and Labor is avowing a fundamental shift in the country's policy toward foreign workers, pledging to protect their rights and treat them as integral members of society. The new policy direction comes as the nation faces a declining working age population and a growing reliance on migrant labor. Our Kim Do-yeon has this report.
Minister of Employment and Labor Kim Young-hoon said the government is moving away from viewing foreign workers simply as a means to fill labor shortages, but viewing them as neighbors. At a briefing with foreign correspondents in Seoul on Monday, he took questions from foreign media about the changing labor landscape in the nation, especially the rights of foreign workers.
Amid declining working age population and the risk of regional decline, foreign workers have become indispensable partners in Korea's economy and society, and members who symbolize diversity and openness. We are working to ensure that they can work safely and stably, without discrimination, as valued neighbors in our workplaces and communities.
Minister Kim framed the protection of foreign workers' rights as a matter of national interest, directly linking their treatment in South Korea to the safety and security of Korean nationals working overseas. The minister was also asked about the challenges faced by international students, particularly those in the humanities, who often struggle to find skilled employment after graduation in Korea. He said the ministry is preparing to improve systematic education and training programs so that students who came to Korea for language and humanities studies can transition into technical fields. The minister also sought to ease concerns among foreign companies regarding the recent passage of the Yellow Envelope Act. The law expands the bargaining rights of subcontracted workers and limits employers' ability to seek damages from unions for strikes.
We have about 4 to 5 months until the law is implemented, and before then, our ministry will do its best to resolve the uncertainties that foreign investors and companies are concerned about by providing manuals and guidelines.
Regarding the recent job scam in Cambodia, where young South Koreans were lured by false promises of high-paying jobs, Minister Kim said the incident highlights the urgent need to create more quality jobs for young people. The minister said the government will crack down on fraudulent job postings while fundamentally working to improve the youth employment situation. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Industry Minister Kim Jong-kwon said the U.S. is not currently demanding a full cash investment from South Korea regarding the ongoing Korea-U.S. tariff negotiations. Upon his return from his visit to the U.S. on Monday, Minister Kim said if it had reached the point of demanding full cash, the issue would have been unresolvable, but the U.S. side has, to a significant extent, accepted our opinions. He also signaled that he could revisit the U.S. to continue negotiations if necessary, even before the APEC leaders' meeting, and underscored that the priority has to be whether it comes to an agreement that best serves the national interest rather than timing of that meeting. South Korean shares on Monday closed at a fresh record high for the 4th straight sessions on Monday, on the back of investors' hopes over easing trade tensions between the U.S. and China. The benchmark KOSPI soared past 3,800 mark for the first time to close its session at 3,814.69. According to a market analyst, this latest stellar performance was driven by the thaw in trade tensions between the U.S. and China and a reduction in U.S. credit risks. South Korea's ruling party is moving full speed ahead with its signature reforms, unveiling bold plans on Monday to reshape both the judiciary and the media landscape, moves that have already sparked a fierce clash political debate. Our Moon Hae-ryun has the details.
The ruling Democratic Party in South Korea is accelerating its three major reforms following the passage of its prosecutorial reform bill. The DP's newly unveiled judicial reform proposal seeks to nearly double the number of Supreme Court justices from 14 to 26. This expansion, which would add 4 new justices annually until the third year of enactment, aims to speed up case handling and diversify perspectives in the top court. Given that the terms of 10 current justices, including Chief Justice Cho Lee-dae, will expire during his tenure, President Lee Jae-myung could appoint a total of 22 justices under this new system. The proposal has sparked heated partisan debate. The DP says the reforms are intended to restore public trust in the judiciary, not to interfere with court decisions.
Opposing judicial reform is no different from saying that. Given the opportunity, one can make biased rulings based on political interests. Judicial reform is about legally ensuring political neutrality under all circumstances.
The main opposition, People Power Party, however, argues that expanding the Supreme Court is a way to exert political influence over the judiciary, calling it a destruction of judicial independence.
The judicial reform being pushed by the Lee administration is a judicial coup with zero independence and fairness, an attempt by the government to control trials and dictate their outcomes.
Other elements of the judicial reform bill include diversifying the Supreme Court Justice Recommendation Committee, introducing a judicial performance evaluation system, increasing public disclosure of court rulings, and creating a pre-hearing system for search and seizure warrants. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party also unveiled a media reform bill aimed at cracking down on false or manipulated information online. The proposal introduces a punitive damages system, allowing courts to impose up to 5 times the actual damages on media outlets or YouTubers found to have deliberately spread false content. To prevent abuse of defamation lawsuits by public figures, the bill adds a provision against cases meant to silence criticism. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News.
South Korea's biggest defense and aerospace fair opened here in the country. There, President Lee Jae-myung vowed to increase related budget in research and development on an unprecedented scale. Our President's Office correspondent Yoon Jung-min reports.
A bold investment to make South Korea one of the 4 major powerhouses in the global defense industry. That was President Lee Jae-myung on Monday, addressing a major arms fair, the Seoul International Aerospace and Defense Exhibition 2025 at Kintex.
2030년까지 국방 R&D 그리고 항공 우주 R&D에 예상을 뛰어넘는 대대적인 예산을 투입해서 미래 국방을 위한 핵심 기술과 무기 체계를 확보하고.
He added the focus will be on developing special semiconductors for military purposes. The commander-in-chief also vowed to introduce a fast-track system so that the armed forces can swiftly adopt new technologies and create an environment where smaller firms and startups can actively take part in. Another focus was on international cooperation.
세계 시장에서 K-방산의 경쟁력을 확보하기 위해서는 단순히 뛰어난 제품을 수출하는 것을 넘어서 안보 협력 파트너라는 새로운 브랜드 가치를 제시해야 합니다.
President Lee underscored the need to develop not just cutting-edge technologies and homegrown weapons, but to achieve self-reliant defense, as he presided over a discussion with industrial officials the same day.
저는 우리 대한민국이 지금과 같은 상황에서도 자주 국방을 해결하지 못하고 국방을 어딘가에 의존해야 된다고 하는 생각을 하는 국민들이 일부라도 있다는 사실이 저는 좀 납득하기가 어렵습니다.
South Korea's defense spending will be increased over the next 5 years. The government has upped its defense budget for next year by over 8% to some 66 trillion won, worth $47 billion amid tensions on the peninsula and geopolitical uncertainties. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
And every year, SEOUL ADEX shows off the power of South Korea's defense capabilities, from the country's latest unmanned systems to AI-enhanced defense equipment. Our Park Jun-han was there.
The South Korean Air Force's Black Eagles aerobatic flight team is showcasing their spectacular flight performances. The team also painted the sky with smoke, forming the taek symbol, the central emblem of the South Korean flag that represents balance and harmony. The Black Eagles also performed a formation named Heart and Cupid, drawing heart-shaped clouds in the sky. This airshow was the opening event of the Seoul International Aerospace and Defense Exhibition 2025, the country's largest defense-related event that promotes the excellence of South Korean defense capabilities.
Seeing it up close, it was just amazing. I thought about how hard they must have trained. Watching them fly made me feel more patriotic and connected.
It was so cool. I wish I could fly one myself.
Seeing it in person felt really different from watching it on YouTube. You can feel the thrill that videos just can't capture, and I really like that.
After the air show ended, visitors had the chance to take a closer look at the actual planes, helicopters, and various other defense-related machines. Following the conclusion of the 3-day air show, the defense exhibition opened on Monday. The exhibition will be open to the public for 5 days until 5 p.m. on Friday. This next-generation infantry fighting vehicle features technology that can counter drone attacks, a crucial capability in modern warfare. When asked about the future of modern warfare shaped by AI and unmanned systems, a senior research engineer said,
AI-based autonomous driving and detection tracking technology enables unmanned vehicles to enter hazardous areas without risking human lives. AI can also maximize effectiveness by refining and training data to suit South Korea's military environment. Based on sovereign AI, it is expected to prevent technology leakage and strengthen combat capabilities through independent AI advancement.
The operations team of ADEX 2025 said that this year's exhibition will serve as a stage not only for defense products, but also for highlighting next-generation innovations that shape the future of advanced air mobility. Park Jun-han, Arirang News.
Starting Friday this week, South Korea's terror alert level will be raised from Stage 1 attention to Stage 2 caution, ahead of its hosting of global leaders attending the APEC meeting in Gyeongju next week. Also, starting next Tuesday, the terror awareness level will be further raised to Stage 3 alert in the host city Gyeongju and its neighboring cities of Busan, Daegu, and Ulsan, as well as the surrounding Gyeongsangbuk-do and Gyeongsangnam-do provinces. A Stage 3 alert is the second highest in the 4-tier system and will result in a tighter traffic control and expanded screenings at airports and seaports. Both measures will remain in place until November 1st, when the APEC event comes to a close. The first phase of the U.S. brokered ceasefire in Gaza, which brought an immediate end to fighting in the region, was threatened on Sunday, just 9 days following its enforcement. But Sunday night local time, the Israeli military said it will continue to respect the ceasefire, adding that it would uphold its end of the agreement. Cha Yoon-kyung reports.
The Israeli military said around 9 p.m. local time on Sunday night that it had resumed respecting the ceasefire in Gaza. This comes after the fragile U.S. brokered ceasefire deal that started on October 10th faced its first major test. The Israeli military said it acted after Hamas fighters fired weapons, including an anti-tank missile, at Israeli troops in Rafah, killing 2 of them, which it called a blatant violation of the truce. Israel says its forces struck Hamas targets across Rafah, Khan Yunis, and Nuseirat, including 6 kilometers of underground tunnels. Hospital officials say at least 45 people were killed, including women and children. Among those killed was a senior Hamas commander. Hamas military wing denied involvement in any clashes, saying it remains committed to the ceasefire, under which Hamas is supposed to relinquish its weapons so as to no longer pose a threat to Israel, but warned that new attacks could push the situation toward total collapse. An Israeli military officer also confirmed that the delivery of aid that has been temporarily halted would resume on Monday local time. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Sunday that the ceasefire was still in place while aboard Air Force One. President Trump acknowledged to reporters that Hamas has been quite rambunctious and doing something shooting, but also suggested that the violence may be the actions of rebels within the Hamas organization rather than its leadership. Trump also emphasized that the Israeli strikes were under review and would be handled toughly and properly. Regarding the war between Russia and Ukraine, President Trump repeated his stance that the two countries should stop fighting and accept current battle lines, adding that they need to negotiate details of a final resolution. Cha Yoon-kyung, Arirang News.
Time now to take a look at what's been happening in the world of sports. For that, we have our sports editor, Paul Neitz, joining us in the studio. Welcome back, Paul.
Thank you. Hello.
Paul, why don't we start with baseball and the MLB postseason? It looks like we'll have a Korean star involved in the World Series this year.
Yes, that's right. If selected, Kim Hae-sung could be involved in the World Series this year. That is because the LA Dodgers swept the National League Championship Series 4-0 over the Milwaukee Brewers. Friday's 5-1 win meant that Game 5 wasn't required. This places them in the second World Series in as many years. Now, Kim Hae-sung, despite just scoring the run that got the Dodgers to the next phase, hasn't featured since that 2-1 win over the Phillies. If selected, though, he'll be the first Korean star to feature in a World Series since Choi Ji-man in 2020. LA await the winner of the American League Championship Series between the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays. The series is tied at 3-3 heading into Game 7 in Toronto on Monday local time. The Mariners earned a 2-game lead, but the Blue Jays fought back to level at 2-2. Seattle won Game 5, then Toronto won Game 6.
Paul, moving on to football, it looks like Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors have been crowned K-League champions.
Yes, they won it over the weekend. They sealed the title with 5 games to spare, 2 no less. Now, it came via a 2-0 win over Suwon FC, thanks to goals from Andrea Campagno and Thiago Orobo, along with Gimcheon Sangmu's 4-1 loss to FC Anyang. It meant that Jeonbuk had mathematically sealed their first title since 2021. It's also the second time that they have done so pre-split before the final round, with 5 more matches to be played, having done so in 2018 as well. Jeonbuk have been dominant, winning 21 matches so far this season and losing just 4. It's quite the turnaround from almost suffering relegation last year and after 3 years of Ulsan dominance. It's also title number 10, further extending their record as Korea's most successful club.
Amazing. Now, moving on to short track speed skating, more medals for Choi Min-jung.
Yes, 1 gold and 1 silver on the final day of the ISU World Tour in Canada. Choi won the 1500 metres on Sunday with a time of 2 minutes 17.399 seconds. This was Korea's only individual gold at the competition. Choi also won silver in the 1000 metres on Saturday, and on Sunday won silver in the mixed 2000 metre relay along with Hwang Dae-hon, Kim Gil-lee and Im Jong-un. Earning ISU medals is of double importance, with places assigned for the 2026 Winter Olympics allocated depending on the results of the 4 World Tour competitions.
Paul, last but not least to golf. At long last, Kim Se-young has another LPGA win.
Yes, her first in 5 years. It came at the BMW Championship. On home soil too, no less, in Haenam in the south of the country on Sunday. Kim finished at 24 under 264. It was a wire-to-wire victory that saw her take home $345,000 in prize money. It was her 13th LPGA win overall, but first since November 2020. 2020. And it really was on home soil because Kim is from Yeongnam, just a 30-minute drive from Haenam, so it was a happy homecoming for the LPGA veteran. According to Yonhap, Kim became LPGA winner number 27 this year, a record, and the third Korean to earn a wire-to-wire win this season as well.
Great stuff. As always, Paul, thanks for coming in tonight. I'll see you next Monday.
Thank you, yeah.
Cold air came down from the north, bringing the coldest weather of this fall. The morning temperature in Seoul today was only 5.3 degrees Celsius. Seoraksan Mountain in Gangwon-do province plummeted to minus 1.3 degrees, and the first snow of this year fell on Seoraksan Mountain. It will get even colder tomorrow morning. With cold around the country, around 5 to 40 millimeters of rain will fall along the east coast until tomorrow. In addition, strong wind warnings are in place along the coast of the Jeollado provinces and Ulleungdo Island. Most areas will start off in the single digits, with Seoul at 4 degrees, Chuncheon and Daejeon at 6 degrees. Daily highs will stay below 20 degrees all over the country. Rain in the eastern parts of Gangwon-do province will continue until Friday. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That is all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. From all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.
해금은 두 줄로 된 함악기인데 저도 처음에 시작하게 된 거는 그 두 줄에서 너무 다양한 소리가 나오는 게 너무 신기했고 일단 해금이 되게 사람의 목소리랑 좀 비슷하다고 많이들 하세요. 줄을 눌러서 이렇게 음을 계속 왔다 갔다 진동하는 그런 형태를 띠고 있다 보니까 애절하다라고 많이 말씀을 해주시는 것 같아요. 이 곡은 제가 좀 오래 좋아했던 친구에 대한 제 여러 감정을 담은 곡인데요. 슬펐던 마음, 혹은 뭐 고마웠던 마음, 이런 여러 가지 감정들을 한데 묶어서 마음이 담긴 곡이라고 할 수 있습니다. 현대적인 음악으로 이제 재구성하는 단계를 거칠 때 항상 중요하게 생각하는 거는 음악의 분위기를 해치지 않는 선에서는 뭔가 전통적인 주법들, 식임새, 이런 전통의 냄새라고 할까요? 맛? 이런 걸 살릴 수 있는 요소들을 좀 집어넣으려고 하는 편이에요. 저는 요새 연주하면서도 스스로가 마음도 편하고 몸도 편안한 음악들을 좀 자주 들려드리고 싶다. 제가 음악으로 위로받았던 것처럼 제가 하는 음악들로 여러분들이 좀 위로받을 수 있는 순간이 있었으면 좋겠다. 그런 무대를 만들려고 노력해야겠다라는 생각을 했던 것 같습니다.
Welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring the most pressing issues across the globe into focus. I'm Kim Mo-gyan. As South Korea prepares to host the 2025 APEC leaders meeting, questions are rising over how mid-sized economies can lead in a time of global uncertainty. Thailand, which chaired the APEC summit in 2022, offers key lessons in navigating both economic cooperation and diplomatic complexity. With shared goals in trade, security, and cultural exchange, South Korea and Thailand now have an opportunity to deepen their partnership on the APEC stage. So tonight, we're joined by Thailand's ambassador to South Korea, Thani Sangrat, to look over and explore ways to strengthen bilateral ties. Ambassador, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's begin right away. Like I've said, last year, you shared Thailand's APEC hosting experience with the mayor of Gyeongju. In your view, what is the most critical factor when preparing for a successful APEC summit?
Well, preparing for an APEC summit involves not only logistical readiness, but also the engagement of all relevant stakeholders, government agencies, local authorities, business people, and the general public. More importantly, agencies concerned, especially in our case, Department of International Economic Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, spent a year in advance in preparing on the substantive or the policy-related proposals with APEC member economies and the general public, the stakeholders in Thailand. When we hosted APEC in 2022, we learned that successful outcomes depend on how well we can integrate all stakeholders to work together toward a shared vision. Another key aspect is ensuring that Thai people, the people of the host economy, feel the ownership of the event. They themselves become representatives of the host countries or host economy values and hospitality. And in this case, it's the Korean people. You're on the main stage.
Right, definitely. So integrating all stakeholders and also making the host economy feel ownership of the event. It's a very critical factor, you're saying. Now, Ambassador, let's also move on to the challenges as well. So during Thailand's chairmanship of the APEC in 2022, you led the national communication campaign as the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What was the most challenging aspect of hosting APEC? And could you also touch upon, Thailand's theme that year, open, connect, and balance, I believe?
Yes, Thailand was APEC host during a time of in the middle of the pandemic recovery and geopolitical tension. Thailand's theme, Open, Connect, Balance, reflected what we need to overcome post-pandemic era and looking forward to the future. One of my most challenging tasks was to make sure that the Thai people understand what APEC was all about and what we're trying to achieve, being the host of APEC. So the theme of our host year was Open, Connect, and Balance. Open, we mean to emphasize trade and investment facilitation and reaffirm our commitment to open regionalism. So we worked on the foundation of the FTAP, free trade area for the Asia Pacific. We look at the foundations and the economies of APEC, worked on common themes that we want to see FTA within our region in the future. Connect. Back then during the COVID, we have to reconnect our economies, reconnect our people, our businesses, and travel after the pandemic. I'm sure that every one of us can remember the lockdown when we were during the pandemic, COVID-19. And balance. It was for the first time that we carry the concept of sustainability, to balance, to do some things in balance in everything that we do. So this reflects our goal of promoting sustainable and inclusive growth through the bio-circular green economy, or BCG economy. It was for the first time that we embedded the concept of sustainability, bio-circular green economy, in the conversation within APEC.
Right. So those three pillars definitely captured the moment back then. So, Ambassador, based on the experience that you've talked about, do you think there are any insights or strategies that you would like to share with South Korea as we prepare for APEC?
Well, I think that the Korea team is fully engaged and preparing for the successful summit in Gyeongju already. But from our perspective, I think it is essential to set a theme that responds to both current global challenges. We also found that engagement with private sector, local communities contributes to the success of the APEC host year. The AOK's theme, Connect, Innovate, Prosper, is very timely. I would recommend continuing to promote inclusiveness and people-centered approaches, especially among the people of the new generation, because they are the future of our economies, the future of APEC as well. We also would work on together on highlighting Korea's strengths in advanced technologies and in digital innovation, and also sustainability, and in working, carrying on our tasks together because we have common values within APEC.
Definitely. That kind of insight definitely seems even more valuable now as we prepare to host the event. Now, let's turn to the bilateral dimension, Ambassador. So South Korea and Thailand are founding members of APEC and have worked together to expand free trade. What kind of joint agenda can our two countries lead in to move forward within the APEC framework?
Well, on bilateral, Thailand and Korea are very close partners. We are working on trade facilitation and on our Korea-Thailand Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or KTCPA, which is also an FTA. We hope to conclude during the APEC summit. The KTCPA will strengthen supply chains and promote investment in key industries. This agreement also reinforces APEC spirit of open trade and regional cooperation. It will also be a practical example of how bilateral agreements contribute to open trade and complement regional cooperation, including the APEC.
Right, so stronger alignment could really amplify our shared voice as well. Now, into the broader geopolitical context, so APEC has become a platform with symbolic significance beyond economics, especially as tensions rise, like the U.S.-China rivalry. So, Ambassador, what kind of strategic diplomacy should mid-sized nations like South Korea and Thailand pursue within APEC?
Well, APEC comprises both developed and developing economies, large economies, middle economies, but also developing economies as well. In the middle of this uncertainty, middle powers must act as bridge builders. The ROK and Thailand can rely on APEC as a platform to promote dialogue, reduce tension, and encourage cooperation instead of confrontation. Thailand and the ROK also value rules-based multilateralism and open trading system. Therefore, we can promote economic resilience and technology cooperation through APEC.
Right, exactly. So middle powers need to be nimble, but also united on key issues as well. Now, on a timely note, so South Korea and Thailand Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement is expected to be concluded during this APEC leadership meeting. What kind of positive impact do you foresee for both economies and also APEC's cooperative structure?
Well, Thailand is the second largest economy in Southeast Asia, and Korea is also the fourth largest economy and very advanced one in Asia and beyond. So the EPA, Economic Partnership Agreement, or KTCEPA, will form an important pillar of trade, free trade within our region, contributing to trade relationship within APEC, contributing to the resilience of supply chains between our two countries, but beyond our two countries into the APEC-wide region as well.
Right, so this kind of deal could really set the tone for broader cooperation to the region as well. Now, shifting to people ties. So since your appointment last year, you've been leading the embassy's so-called 3P strategy, which includes economic promotion, consular protection, and soft power as well. What kind of tangible outcomes have come from this specific approach so far?
Well, thank you for your question. Under the 3P strategy, we have made significant progress in each of the P. For the economic promotion, we organized the Ignite Thailand Korea Business Forum and supported investment missions focusing on future industries such as renewable energy, smart electronics, and bio-based materials. We will also hold the Ignite Thailand Korea Business Forum in Bangkok on the 17th of November. Later this year. So we have succeeded in facilitating further investment between our two countries and also trade. On the second P, which is consular protection, we have almost 170,000 Thai nationals in Korea. We over the past year, we strengthened coordination with Korean authorities to ensure the safety and welfare of our nationals, particularly our workers and our students in Korea. Our third P is our soft power. We really successfully hosted the Swadish Seoul Thai Festival 2025 this year, which attracted about 100,000 visitors to our festival, and we showcased Thai culture, cuisine, and tourism, but also we had the participation of a K-pop band, and we celebrate Taekwondo and Muay Thai and the Cheongkichon area. And we did the same thing last year with a large number of participants as well at the same location.
Right, very meaningful efforts we're seeing. Now, Ambassador, in a previous interview, you've also emphasized that security and defense are top priorities for both countries. Why is collaboration in this field becoming increasingly important?
Well, as you know, security cooperation between Korea and Thailand is rooted in the long-standing relationship back to the Korean War. Both countries can further enhance cooperation in defense industry development. One of our most advanced naval vessels was built in Korea. Some of our jet trainers were also acquired from Korea. So both of our countries can enhance collaboration in areas, not only defense industry development, but also in humanitarian assistance. We can also join, develop the defense-related equipment. That's something that we're working on as well.
Right. Security ties often get overlooked, but they're really foundational. Now, on the cultural front, Ambassador, Thailand is actively pushing its soft power policy to drive national growth through its cultural industries. So as Southeast Asia's hub for K-content, what forms of cultural exchange or cooperation could Thailand and South Korea pursue together?
As you know, Korea is a global soft power in itself. So we would like to take the advantage of this opportunity to learn from Korea, to collaborate. We came up with TECA, which is a model after KOKA of Korea. Our soft power policy aims to empower communities and content industry to promote Thai culture and creativity globally. The government agencies concerned are working closely with the content industry in Thailand to collaborate among each other, but also with their Korean counterparts. We have some 5,000 students in Thailand who study the Korean language, the largest number in the world. Korea's global success in cultural exports offers valuable lessons and opportunities for collaboration. Together, Thailand and Korea can create co-production in film, drama, and music, and develop talent exchange programs between our creative professionals. So the sky is our limit.
Right, we will be able to look forward to more of those cooperation moving forward. Now, Ambassador, before we let you go, could you tell us some specific programs or initiative the Thai Embassy in Seoul is planning aimed at strengthening relations moving forward?
Well, other than preparing for the visit of our almost 100 person strong delegation to the APEC Economic Leaders Week at the end of this month. Our embassy is preparing for the Ignite Thailand Korea Business Forum 2025 in Bangkok on the 17th of November, right after the APEC Economic Leaders Week. This will bring together almost 100 Korean businesses and investors to Thailand, and business leaders and policymakers to explore investment opportunities in Thailand's strategic industries and build our collaboration between our private sector.
Right. So there definitely would be plenty of opportunities for both countries to cooperate moving forward, and we'll be looking forward to that. But as for now, we'll have to conclude our discussion right here. Ambassador, thank you so much for your time and for your insights again.
Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you. And that'll be all from us on Within the Frame tonight. Be sure to tune in again next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Until then, stay informed and engaged.